how to get a bank loan for business. In this course, we'll understand what are the expectations of bankers so that we equip ourselves to the expectations of bankers and become eligible for getting a banker's loan. So we'll move on to the introductory session. Everyone will have dream for business. So if you have the passion, if you have the determination and clarity in thought, then that dream for business can become reality with support of funds. So if you want to convert your business dream into reality, that should be possible through funds, and funds can come from own source and it can also come from borrowed source. So when we say borrowed source, it can be from friends and relatives or it can be from bankers channel. And bankers is the most common channel for borrowed funds because it comes with various advantages. So we know that borrowed funds can come from bankers, and what are the advantages, or why do we say the bankers fund is the best source for borrowed funds? Because the funds are going to come at low cost when compared with the outside borrowings other than bankers. The banking fund will be the low cost, and they can also have a longer tenor, and they can also have safety of securities because you are going to give it to an institution. So getting back shouldn't be a problem, and it will also improve the credit quality image, because if you are borrowing and if you have borrow a limit from a good bank, it would tell you your credit quality is good, because banks are not going to lend you that easy without satisfying your credit image. So this also conveys to the outside world that if you have a lending relationship or a borrowing relationship with a particular bank, it means your credit quality is good. So these are all the advantages of taking a bank loan, and the other major advantages you will get to have income tax benefit. We'll see that when we reach the appropriate time. So in this session we are going to understand what are the expectations of the bankers. Number two, why do they expect that? First of all, it's not just going to be what do they expect, but why do they expect and when do they expect. So all this we'll see. So we'll see one by one. What and why do they expect? So what they are going to ask you and why they are asking that. See, the first document or first information which the bankers would be interested is your identity and address proof. So if you have a business unit, the business unit should have a perfect identity and address proof. This is what they expect. But why they expect? That is to confirm the legal presence and identity. You are a legally artificial person. If you are doing a business in a various forms like sole proprietorship or partnership or corporate, whatever, you have the legal presence. That is number one. And number two, they would expect the statutory registrations, whether you have statutory registration, so that they can ensure they are lending to only the legal business. So you cannot get the statutory registration for illegal business. So if there is a statutory registration, it tells them there is a legality in the business. So number two, they will be expecting whether you have statutory registrations. And three, whether you have the financial statements and income tax returns. Why do they expect financial statements and income tax returns? To know what is the business performance and efficiency. To know what is the efficiency level, how well you are making profits, and what is your financial position, what are the assets you have, what are the liabilities, what is the net worth. They'll be interested in knowing all that, so they would expect the financial statements and income tax returns. Number four, they will be expecting financial projections. But why they should expect financial projections? To know what is your future business plan and the viability. To know what is the future business plan and the viability. So what arrangements you are going to have for increasing your sales, increasing your profits, funding your assets. So all this would be available from financial projections. They would also ask for project report. why they would ask for project report? To understand the various factors of production. See, there are various factors of production for a project. It can be on land, building, marketing, raw material, power, water connection, labor, everything. So to understand about all those, sometimes they would require project report if you approach them for a term funding, for a long-term funding. And the bankers would also sometimes or many times expect securities for the loan which they are going to give. Why? To safeguard themselves in the event of loan gets failed. So the bankers would ask for security, will be insisting on securities so that they'll be able to give loan, and without security sometimes they may not even resort for giving loan. It is to safeguard themselves in case if the customer is not in a position to pay the loan back. And finally, the mother of all, they'll be looking for the conduct of your past loans. How well those loans have been serviced, whether there had been any default in these loans, any NPAs, I mean whether the customer had become or gone to an extent where he was not able to pay the loan, and whether any litigations was there in the past loans. So all these would be studied with respect to past loan, and past loan could be the major factor in deciding whether a bank can lend you or not, lend the customer or not, because the past loan will tell the behavior of the customer in dealing with bankers. In case of servicing, in past loan, if the customer has been very casual and not servicing on time, then the new bank may not take the risk of lending to the customer. And in the past, if the customer had defaulted or it had become NPA, then probably the bank will try to stay away from the customer to avoid such kind of situation for them, or the NPA or default would be the tag which would make the customer ineligible for the loans. And litigations would tell about the character of the customer, who would go to the extent of filing cases but not cooperating with the customer. So all these would tell the nature and would give them a comprehensive understanding of the customer. Fine. So this is what they do expect, and why do they expect, but when do they expect? We'll see in next session.